Welcome to Honest Whispers Review. On this video I'll be reviewing DC Universe animated movie Justice League War Wonder Woman action figure. She's actually number 4 of the series, and as it's shown on the back of the blister card packaging, the Flash, Superman, Green Lantern, and Shazam were released at the same time. This was released by DC Collectibles back in June 18th, 2014. Designed by Phil Bousarra and sculpted by Jack Matthews. She's approximately 7 inches tall. And comes with the sword, but no display base, although she is pretty sturdy and stable without a display base, as long as you get the feet and everything right. I'm going to go over 6 different categories to review this. First category is design, which basically covers the look, the concept, and the points of articulations. This figure comes with 9 points of articulations: 1 neck, 2 shoulders, 2 elbows, 2 hips, and 2 knees. And basically neck and hips, well, I can't say hips, but because they're not completely useless, but you really can't do any much poses other than standing. Maybe you could do something kind of kneeling, but otherwise the best you can do is the arms. This is actually my favorite pose with her. Just the way her fist is kind of curled, and you can't move or rotate her arms or hand. So basically the sword is pointed kind of outward. So I thought this pose, in my opinion, is the best. And the costume, even though it's a redesign, and I usually like traditional costumes, this one, just to be honest, I kind of like it because it has a similarity to Psylocke's costume, which is like a mock turtleneck leotard with opera gloves and thigh-high boots or socks. So overall it has the same similar look, but to judge this or review this without being biased about the costume or the look, definitely well done, exactly the way it looks on the animation. And she has appeared on few of them now in this costume and in this version in continuity, and at the same time the way she looks, the proportions, everything, it is definitely well designed to make it look like the art style of the animation. So overall, the design, everything about it, although I don't care too much about the points of articulation, well executed, well done, well thought out. I give the design score a perfect 10 out of 10. Next category is sculpting, which basically covers the details, the quality of the molding, and execution. And overall, very well done, especially for an action figure. It's not quite perfect, but for what it is, especially when you look from good distance, everything looks pretty much perfect. The hair looks like the art style of the animation, not too much details, and it's not too simplified. I think it's just the right balance. Face and everything, the head, body, chest, waist, hips, legs, I mean, I could name pretty much every body part is well proportioned. I like how it's kind of skinny and thin. At the same time, it's somewhat muscular. You do see some muscle definition and everything, and even just the shape and the proportions of her legs, just the way it's long. She has long thighs, and the way her calves kind of, well, I don't want to say bulge out, but it does get a bit wider, but it's just not too wide and just perfectly fits the art style. Now, as far as the molding quality goes, not everything is perfect. You do see some, I guess, like rough patches here and there, like right there in the bottom or back of her wrist. You can see that's probably where either the molding or the cast itself might have just left that kind of dimple. Otherwise, for what it is, definitely overall well done. Now, on certain figures, the thumb itself could be a little bit out of proportion. This one, when I buy things, I always try to be very picky. Unfortunately, when I bought an extra, this thumb, which I noticed, just tends to kind of curl out a bit and a bit longer, and it kind of bends in a impossible direction pretty much. So once you have the sword holding it, it'd probably be hidden. So other than that, just minor flaws here and there. Not all of them are the same. You do have to kind of look out for pretty much the best ones as far as the molding quality and painting job goes. So for the sculpting, I give a score of near perfect, 9 out of 10. Next category is colors, which basically covers the accuracy, the quality of the paint, and also the quality of the paint application. Now, this one is a combination of hand painting and imprinting. And as you can see, overall, this is, from what it looks like pretty much everything's accurate. The lines are pretty straight. Let me try to get a better focus here on the lines. So it looks like they did use some imprinting on like the belt or the silver, and of course the stars. She lost most of her stars, but she does have one on each of her sides or hips, and of course on her hands. And then of course on the knee area where you see with the black border lines and everything, that looks like some imprinting is done as well, especially right here in the ankles. But when you see certain areas now with the boots, her right boot, or for us our left side, basically you see a nice sharp point, and then for her right boot it gets a bit curvy and a bit out of it looks distorted. So definitely it's not symmetrical. And when you see other figures as well to compare, this one's pretty sharp angle, this one kind of curves the similar way. So I don't know if they had a machine and just tends to paint the same kind of curves. Everything else looks good, eyes and everything. You don't get, I mean, you do have to be careful. Sometimes there are ones that looks more cross-eyed than not. I do get picky with that, so I try to get the most symmetrical eyes. So overall, the paint, other than a few little, like for instance, the blue just tends to kind of have a faded, it's almost like they used the guard and then just spray painted it, so it doesn't have a nice sharp border, and it does tend to have a more of a faded look. So the colors are almost perfect, therefore I give the score a near perfect 9 out of 10. Next category is packaging. Packaging basically comes in a blister card packaging or a bubble card packaging. And this one, for what it is, especially the way it's designed, the shape of the bubble, and Just the way most of it's clear, you could see it overall. Now it does look like it's pretty much generic, especially when you see other characters, because especially for her, she has a lot of space inside, and at the same time you can see that the card, they probably used the same card for every other figure that came out in the same series to be more cost effective. The only difference here would be this little sticker that says Wonder Woman, and of course this little insert here with her number on it. The way it looks and everything, I do like it, especially the way you're able to see inside and see most of the figure itself before you even buy it. The blister card, pretty sturdy, and at the same time the way this name is shaped on the side, if you have a bunch of these in a row, you don't have to move them to the side or pull them out. You can kind of just peek from the side and read all the names. So pretty well thought out, very clever. I give the packaging score a perfect 10 out of 10. Next category is value, which basically covers the original suggested price versus the aftermarket, and original price or even the aftermarket price versus the quality. And for what it is, this is again one of the best looking Wonder Woman figures ever made. The face, the way it's sculpted, the way it looks painted, the proportion, she actually looks pretty in this. Because there's a lot of Wonder Woman figures with a very ugly or just hideous looking faces. Body looks great. Again, articulations, you really can't do much with it, or many different poses, but I really like this pose. And for me, like, if this was a permanent statue, I don't mind. I kind of like how she's battle ready right there, chest out and ready to go. Now the lasso itself, it looks like you could pull it out, but you can't do anything with it. So just look, everything about it. Now the supply and demand, it is getting more and more rare for something this old, 5 years roughly. It's more than doubled its value. I originally bought this for around $12.99, and right now I actually had it listed a couple weeks ago on different selling sites and applications, and just sold today, at least the new one, because this one I'm keeping, for $29 plus $10 roughly in shipping. So basically $39 total. And the point I'm trying to make is, for right now, even if you have to pay around $39-$40, for me, definitely worth it. I'm just glad I bought this when it first came out, and I didn't have to go around searching for it in the aftermarket price. And the best part, I think, is it's only been 5 years old. This one's probably going to continue to rise in value, just from my experience, and knowing that this one right now, it just looks good. So that usually helps in the aftermarket from my experience collecting, especially particularly Wonder Woman figures. So the value, I give it a high, near perfect 9 out of 10. So finally, overall, which is basically accumulates the 5 prior categories: design, sculpting, color, packaging, and value. And I already covered a lot of reasons why I like this, even though it's not a traditional costume. She looks really cool. And for the different variations of Wonder Woman figures and statues made, this is kind of on the unique side. There's not too many of hers. Actually, at this point, this may be the only one made that resembles her costume from the animated movie series ever since Bruce Timm left. So overall, I like everything mostly about it. The score itself speaks for itself. So overall, I give it a near perfect 9 out of 10. So to recap, design 10 out of 10. Sculpting 9 out of 10. Colors 9 out of 10. Packaging 10 out of 10. Value 9 out of 10. And overall 9 out of 10. Thank you for watching. Until next time. Give Justice War a chance. Actually, same storyline as Jim Lee's Justice League, which was basic or similar story as the New 52 storyline. Different costume, different look.